Leviticus 19, the laws. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Speak to the whole community of Israel. Tell them, be holy because I am holy. I am Lord of your God. All of you must have respect for your mother and father. You must always keep my Sabbath day. I am the Lord your God. Do not turn away from me to worship statues of gods. Do not make for yourselves metal statues of gods. I am the Lord of your God. Suppose you sacrifice a friendship offering to me, then do it in the right way, and I will accept it from you. You must eat it on the same day you sacrifice it or on the next day. Anything left over until the third day must be burned up. If you eat any of it on the third day, it is not pure. I will not accept it. Whoever eats it will be held responsible. They have misused what is holy to me. They will be separated from their people. Suppose you are harvesting your crops, then do not harvest all the way to the edges of your field, and do not pick up the grain you missed. Do not go over your vineyard the second time. Do not pick up the grapes that have fallen to the ground. Leave them for poor people and outsiders. I am the Lord your God. Do not steal. Do not tell lies. Do not cheat one another. Do not give your word in my name and then be false witness. That would be treating the name of your God as if it were not holy. I am the Lord. Do not cheat your neighbor. Do not rob him. Do not hold back the back of a hired worker until morning. Do not ask for bad things to happen to deaf people. Do not put anything in front of blind people that will make them trip. Instead, have respect for me. I am the Lord your God. Do not make something wrong appear to be right. Treat poor people and rich people in the same way. Do not favor one person over another. Instead, judge everyone fairly. Do not go around spreading lies among your people. Do not anything that puts your neighbor's life in danger. I am the Lord. Do not hate another Israelite in your heart. Correct your neighbor bodily when they do something wrong. Then you will not share their guilt. Do not try to get even. Do not hold anything against any of your people. Instead, love your neighbor as you love yourself. I am the Lord. Obey my rules. Do not let different kinds of animals mate with each other. Do not mix two kinds of seeds and then plant them in your field. Do not wear clothes that are made out of two kinds of cloth. Suppose a man sleeps with a female slave, but she and another man have promised to get married to each other, and her freedom has not yet been paid for or given to her. Then she and the man who slept with her must be punished, but they must not be put to death. because she had not been set free. The man must bring a ram to the entrance to the tent of meeting. It is for a guilty offering to me. The priest must take the ram for a guilt offering. He must sacrifice it to pay for the man's sin in my sight. Then his sin will be forgiven. When you enter the land, suppose you plant a fruit tree. Then do not eat its fruit for the first 3 days, 3 years. The fruit is unclean. In the fourth year, all the fruit will be holy. Offer it as a way of showing praise to me. But in the 5th year, you can eat the fruit. Then you will gather more and more fruit. I am the Lord your God. Do not eat any meat that still has blood in it. Do not practice any kind of evil magic. Do not cut the hair on the sides of your head. Do not clip off the edges of your beard. Do not make cuts on your bodies when someone dies. Do not put marks on your skin. I am the Lord. Do not dishonor your daughter's body by making a prostitute out of her. If you do, the Israelites will start going to prostitute. The land will be filled with evil. You must always keep my Sabbath days. Have respect for my sacred tent. I am the Lord. Do not look for advice from people who get messages from those who have died. Do not go to the people who talk to the spirits of the dead. If you do, they will make you unclean. I am the Lord your God. Stand up in order to show your respect for all the people. Also have respect for me. I am the Lord your God. Suppose an outsider lives with you in your land. Then do not treat them badly. Treat them as if they were one of your own people. Love them as you love yourself. Remember that all of you were outsiders in Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Be honest when you measure length, weight, or amount. Use honest scales and honest weight. Use honest dry measures, and use honest liquid measures. I am the Lord your God. I brought you out of Egypt. Obey all my rules and laws. Follow them. I am the Lord. Leviticus 20. Israel will be punished for their sins. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, say to the Israelites, suppose a person sacrificed one of his children to the god Molech. It doesn't matter whether the person is an Israelite or an outsider who lives in Israel. He must be put to death. The members of the community must kill him by throwing stones at him. I will turn against that man. I will separate him from his people. That's because he has sacrificed his child to Molech. He has made my sacred tent unclean. He has treated my names as if it were not holy. Suppose the members of the community act like they don't know that the man has sacrificed his child to Molech. And suppose they don't put him to death. Then I will turn against that the man and his family. I will separate them from their people. I will also separate all those who follow him by joining themselves to Molech. They are not faithful to me. Suppose someone looks for advice from people who get messages from those who has died. Or they go to the people who talk to the spirits of the dead, and they do what those people say. Then they have not been faithful to me, so I will turn against them. I will separate them from their people. Set yourselves apart for me, be holy, because I am the Lord your God. Obey my laws, follow them. I am the Lord, I make you holy. Anyone who ask for bad things to happen to their father or mother must be put to death. They have cursed their father or mother, so anything that happens to them will be their own fault. Suppose a man commits adultery with their neighbor's wife, then the man and the woman must be put to death. Suppose a man has sex with his father's wife, then he has brought shame on his father. The man and the woman must be put to death. Anything that happens to them will be their own fault. Suppose a man has sex with his daughter-in-law, then they must be put to death. They have used sex in the wrong way. Anything that happened to them will be their own fault. Suppose a man has sex with another man, as he would have sex with a woman. I hate what they have done. They must be put to death. Anything that happens to them will be their own fault. Suppose a man gets married to both a woman and her mother. That is evil. All of them must be burned to death. Then there will not be any evil among you. Suppose a man has sex with an animal, then he must be put to death. You must also kill the animal. Suppose a woman has sex with an animal, then kill the woman and the animal. They must be put to death. Anything that had happened to them will be their own fault. Suppose a man gets married to his sister and have sex with her. That is shameful things to do. It does not matter whether she is a daughter of his father or of his mother. They must be separated from their community in front of everyone. The man has brought shame on his sister. He'll be responsible for what he has done. Suppose a man has sex with a woman during her monthly period. He has uncovered the place where her bleeding was coming from, and she has let him do. So both of them must be separated from their people. Do not have sex with the sister of either your mother or your father. That will bring shame on a close relative. both of you will be held responsible for what you have done. Suppose a man has sex with his aunt, then he has brought shame on his uncle. Both of them will be held accountable for what they have done. They will die without having any children. Suppose a man gets married to his brother's wife. There is something that should never be done. He has brought shame on his brother. Neither of them will have any children. Obey all my rules and laws. Follow them. Then the land where I am bring you to live will not throw you out. To make room for you, I am going to drive out the nations that are in the land. You must not follow the practices of those nations. I hated those nations because they did all those things. But I said to you, you will take over their land as your own. I will give it to you. It will belong to you. It is a land that has plenty of milk and honey. I am the Lord your God. I have set you apart from the other nations, so you must be able to tell the difference between animals that are clean and those that are not. You must know which birds are clean and which are not. Do not make yourselves unclean by eating any unclean animal or bird. Do not make yourselves unclean by eating anything that moves along the ground. I will set all of them apart as unclean for you. You must be holy. You must be set apart to me. I am the Lord. I am holy. I have set you apart from the other nations to be my own people. Suppose a man or a woman gets messages from those who have died. Or suppose a man or a woman talks to the spirit of the dead. Then you must put that man or a woman to death. You must kill them by throwing stones at them. Anything that happens to them will be their own fault. Leviticus 21. Rules for priests. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the priest, the son of Aaron. Tell them the priest must not make himself unclean by going near the dead body or any of his people, but he can go neither near the body of close relative. It could be his mother, father, son, daughter, or brother. He can also go near a sister who is not married, should have depended on him because she didn't have a husband. The priest can make himself unclean by going near her body, but he must not make himself unclean by going near the bodies of people only related to him by marriage. Going near them will make him unclean. Priests must not shave any part of their heads. They must not shave off the edges of their beards. They must not make cuts on their bodies when someone dies. Priests must be holy. They must be set apart for me. I am their God. They must not treat my name as if it were not holy. They must be holy because they bring food offering to me. That is my food. They must not get married to women who are unclean because they are prostitute. They must not marry women who are divorced from their husbands. That is because priests are holy. They are set apart for me. I am their God. Consider them as holy because they offer up food to me. Consider them as holy because I am holy. I am the Lord. I make you holy. Suppose a priest's daughter make herself unclean by becoming a prostitute. Then she brings shame on her father. She must be burned to death. The high priest is the one among his brothers who has been anointed with olive oil. He has been appointed to wear the priest's clothes. When someone dies, the high priest must not let his own hair hang loose. He must not tear his clothes to show how sad he is. He must not enter a place where there is a dead body. He must not make himself unclean, even if his father or mother dies. He must not leave the sacred tent of the Lord to take part in burying a body that will bring shame on the tent. The anointing oil has set the high priest apart. I am the Lord. The woman the high priest gets married to must be a virgin. He must not marry a widow or a woman who is divorced. He must not marry a woman who is unclean because she is prostitute. He must only marry a virgin. She must come from his own people. If he doesn't marry a virgin, he makes the children he has by her unclean. I am the Lord. I make him holy. The Lord said to Moses, speak to Aaron. Tell him, no man in your family line with any flaws may come near to offer food to the Lord. This is true for all time to come. No one who has any flaws can come near. No man who is bald or disabled can come. No man whose body is scared or twisted can come. No man whose foot or hand is disabled can come. No man whose back is bent can come. No man who is too short can come. No man who has anything wrong with his eyes can come. No man who has boils or running sores can come. No man whose sex glands are crushed can come. No man with any flaws who is in the family line of Aaron the priest may come near me. He can't come to bring the food offerings to the Lord. If he has any flaws, he must not come near to offer food to the Lord. He can eat the holy food. He can also eat my very holy food. But because he has a flaw, he must not go near the curtain or approach the altar. If he does, he will make my sacred tent unclean. I am the Lord. I am everything holy. So Moses told all these things to Aaron and his sons. He also told them to all the Israelites. Leviticus 22. The Lord said to Moses, "Here is what I want you to tell Aaron and his sons. Tell them to treat the sacred offerings with respect. They are the offerings the Israelites set apart to honor me. So Aaron and his sons must never treat my name as if it were not holy. I am the Lord. Say to them, suppose a man in your family line is unclean, and suppose that comes near the sacred offerings. They are the offerings the Israelites set apart to honor me. The man must not be allowed to serve me as a priest. That applies for all time to come. I am the Lord. Suppose a man in Aaron's family lines has a skin disease, or suppose a liquid waste is flowing out of his body, then he can't eat the sacred offering until he made pure and clean. Suppose he touches something made unclean by coming near a dead body, or suppose he touches someone who has semen flowing from his body, then he will be unclean. Or suppose he touches any crawling thing that make him unclean, or suppose he touches any person who makes him unclean. It doesn't matter what unclean thing he touches. It'll make him unclean. The one who touches anything of that kind will be unclean until evening. He must not eat any of the sacred offering unless he has taken a bath. When the sun goes down, he will be clean. After that, he can eat the sacred offering. They are his food. He must not eat anything food that were torn apart by wild animals. If he does, it'll make him unclean. I am the Lord. The priest must do what I require. But suppose they make fun of what I required, then they will become guilty and die. I am the Lord. I make them holy. Only a member of priest family can eat the sacred offering. The guest of priest can't eat it. The priest hired worker can't eat it either. But suppose a priest buy a slave with money, or suppose slaves are born in his house, then they can eat the sacred food. Suppose the priest's daughter marries someone who is not a priest, then she can't eat any of the food brought as a sacred gift. But suppose the priest's daughter become a widow, or is divorced, she does not have any children, and she returned to live in her father's house, where she lived when she was young. Then she can eat her father's food. But a person who doesn't belong to a priest family can't eat any of it. Suppose someone eats a sacred offering by mistake, then they must pay back the priest for the offering. They must also add the fifth of its value to it. The priest must not allow the sacred offerings to become unclean. They are the offerings the Israelites bring to the Lord. The priest must not allow the offerings to become unclean by letting the people eat them. If they do, they will bring guilt on the table. They will have to pay for what they have done. I am the Lord. I make them holy. Sacrifices the Lord does not accept. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Speak to Aaron and his sons. Speak to all the Israelites. Tell them, suppose any of you brings a gift for a burnt offering to the Lord. It does not matter whether you are an Israelite or an outsider who lives in Israel. It does not matter whether you bring the offering to keep a promise or because you choose to give it. You must bring a male animal without any flaws if you want the Lord to accept it from you. It does not matter whether it is from your cattle, sheep, or goats. Do not bring an animal that has any flaws. If you do, the Lord will not accept it from you. Suppose any of you brings an animal for a friendship offering to the Lord, then it must not have any flaws at all. If it does, the Lord will not accept it. It doesn't matter whether the animal is from your herd or flock. It doesn't matter whether you bring it to keep a promise or because you choose to give it. Do not offer a blind animal to the Lord. Do not bring a hurt or wounded animal. And do not offer one that has warts or boiled or running sores. Do not place any of them on the altar as a food offering presented to the Lord. But suppose you bring an offering you choose to give, then you can bring an ox or a sheep whose body is twisted or too small. But the Lord will not accept it if you offer it to keep a promise. You must not offer the Lord of a male animal whose sex glands has been hurt. The glands also must not be crushed, torn, or cut. You must not offer that kind of animal in your own land, and you must not accept that kind of animal from someone who comes from another land. You must not offer it as food for your God. I will not accept it from you. Each body is twisted and has flaws. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, when a calf, lamb, or goat is born, it must remain with each mother for 7 days. For the 8th day on, I will accept it as a food offering presented to me. Do not kill a cow and each calf on the same day. Do not kill a female sheep and each lamb on the same day. Sacrifice a thank offering to me in the right way. Then I will accept it from you. You must eat it the same day. Do not leave any of it until morning. I am the Lord. Obey my commands. Follow them. I am the Lord. Do not treat my name as if it were not holy. The Israelites must recognize me as the holy God. I am the Lord. I am your holy. I brought you out of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord.